Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 3 of tonight's Auzom Premier League Lobby Red. I am JoRoSaR, joined by Cameron Davis and your observer this evening, iTwisterr. We've had some beautiful games so far, and game number 2 particularly interesting because none of the top 3 from game 1 made it into the top 5, and as a result, in the coming 2 games, consistency will be the name of the game.
Yeah, it's not even the fact that the top 3 didn't make it into top 5. It's the fact that the top 3 of game number 2 were within the bottom 5 after game number 1. So those first 2 games are going to upset a lot. But let's look at this, because this plane route is not great. The first 2 planes were pretty good. No one would be too terribly upset by it. But this one, it's not that great. We'll see. We may get another similar stack around Milta and Milta Power because of it. Because any sort of long drop is like, good luck if you want to make your way to Georgia Pole if you don't find a vehicle fast.
Quite. 7 o'clock to 2 o'clock, the current plane path. And the early people to get out of the plane, maybe try and get some early ground in Primorsk. By the way, HAVU and Kinguin extremely close to each other. So it'll be interesting to see where they end up landing on the ground. Like you rightly said, a couple of teams contesting Milta, although there is enough loot there for a few. Only Ronin going to Milta properly so far, which I'm a little bit surprised about. Usually you tend to see one more team maybe going to mini Milta or something like that. Alternate attacks have got mill base all to themselves, and Suntouch, P-Day and Co, of course, those beautiful guys from the Royal Banditos last game, they're going Novo.
So I like this by Riddle Esports. We saw them last game get actually caught between Ronin and not Gentside. The other team that went to Milta Power, that would be House of Nobles. And so they actually pushed up north, but because Gentside were around the prison lumber mill area, which they still are, they could still kind of come into an early contact with them. We do see some close members, Kisei and Vic specifically, a little bit of a fight over a vehicle, it seems. And so they know that they're there. And so hopefully, or at least I'm expecting Riddle Esports to not push too heavily into Gentside's area, but it is something they need to be worried about, especially because they're not too far from MyTech, just to the west of them. Liquid obviously going to Yasnaya, and then you have Action is coming, making their way north. I believe they would Stalber and Kameshki game number 2, so that seems to be where they're going for game number 3.
And of course, the moment the casters say good luck getting to Georgia Pole, we fully expect it to be in the circle. Relatively similar to what we've seen before already. Severny very much in it. You've also got North Georgia, not quite extending to Zaki. Dignitas back from Zaki and Team Liquid, all reasonably close. Liquid for the 3rd game in a row, going towards Yasnaya and finding themselves basically with only one another for company. So they're going to be relatively comfortable, although Skoom has decided to make his way a little bit further west. And if he's not careful, he could end up encountering back from Zaki early.
Yeah, so what usually happens is that Skoom loots the area outside of Yasnaya, just to the southwest of it. Part of that is to make sure they can find more than enough vehicles for themselves. He finds a vehicle, loots a couple of those compounds because they're usually free, and then makes his way into Yasnaya. Because of the way the plane route was, he's even marginally further away. It was actually Samty that I believe hopped into a vehicle to drive to Yasnaya, so they had at least one. We already see a couple of vehicles. Dacia that just went off screen, UAZ, Ryanair Center, so Skoom should also be okay on vehicles. So we know Liquid have at least 2. But you're right, Skoom needs to make sure that he doesn't overextend too much into the Rozhok area, or else he could get taken out by either back from Zarki or Team Dignitas.
Janssen and co. being extremely dangerous at the moment, running themselves straight into the middle of Kinguin. No Loot Gaming are not going to be having a good time if they continue to hang around there. Miraku actually joining in and very publicly getting on a vehicle and chasing them. It looks like they'll get away with their lives, but that was a bit of a scare early on. And Max, knockout by falling early on. I wonder what happened there.
Probably a hit F. Popped out of the vehicle a little too fast.
Time to pay respects in chat for that. Yeah, I'm not... Oh, there he is. He's just north of the lake in Yasnaya. He's in the middle of nowhere. Ooh. That's got to be a motorbike, right? Has he got a motorbike? Can we see a motorbike?
I'm assuming it is. Where is it? Where's the bike?
Twister's an expert in finding motorbikes to flip from. I'm sure he'd be able to see it if one exists here. But we can't see one so far. Wow, I'll tell you what, if he has flipped a bike, then it's gone a very, very long way from where...
No, that's... there it is.
Yeah, the classic 3-wheeler. That's a... Can I just say how impressive a distance that is? Look at where he is. What?
That's pretty good. Pretty good. But the big question, the big point to note is that MyTech, we saw that Max, is on the other side of his Naya, on the other side of the lake from the rest of his team. And so Bonnie L is on the rotation up there, but it could be a little tricky for them to get that revive. I think he's just going to be able to make it. First down, bleed out timer is quite forgiving, but he is already quite low. So
right. 10 seconds max, right? I don't think he's going to make it.
Yeah.
I want him to make it. My heart of hearts wants him to make it.
Yeah. I was a little forgiving with that.
That was very, like, to be fair, that was a very, very impressive flip. And for what it's worth, we didn't catch the actual embarrassing moment on camera. We had to piece together.
Kinguin and Scoom in the southeast edge of the circle could be coming in contact with each other.
Very close, a 330 kind of position off the circle right now. Kinguin extremely close to Scoom. And possibly going, I think going for the car is reasonably sensible at this point in time. Scoom, though, peeking around the edge, will be able to spot him doing that. If he can get... Wow, very nice. I thought he might have been going for a tire first or something like that. But Scoom went, actually, mate, I'm going to take that vehicle for myself. Thank you very much. Waited for the very last moment. Did he actually get him once he was in the car as well?
I believe so.
Very nice.
Lined up on the head where he knew the driver's seat was going to be.
Yep.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and MyTech are all out of sorts. I don't know what their game plan coming into this was. I think that they weren't expecting to have so much population around that area because they seem to be all out of sorts on their rotations through. Not even just the motorcycle crash. We saw that player who just got taken out, like, walk into liquid territory.
Yeah. Look, if you're MyTech right now, you have a very, very simple strategy. And that strategy is stay away from vehicles. They're clearly not conducive to your health right now. I mean, we've worked that much out, right? Just find a ledge somewhere, chill out, try and get sort of top 7, top 8 before you need to engage anyone. We'll see what happens after that. But motorbikes, dashes, next one's going to be a UAZ. I'm calling it.
Spike right now trying to peek on through as a nice 4X on an M16, not taking any shots though. Wants to wait till he knows he can get it down where he wastes the ammo, and Cold Dementia comes right along the ridge, but still too much cover for him to comfortably take it. Also just holding for information, doesn't want to give any more information away than he has to, but I can't imagine why he'd want to save that spot because it's not even in the circle, and Dignitas are already inside. In fact, Dignitas, the rest of the team in, Roz are the one taking the shots, so he was calling out the information of vehicles coming past. No real damage landing.
Dignitas feeling fairly comfortable. Really, you want to get into a position where multiple people can have nice angles onto the same car. Now we have a back from Zaki going very close to Ibiza. He's going to take a few shots onto Fon. That full auto from the M4 will actually get some damage done, but not enough to get it down out of a vehicle. He is by himself at the moment here. Oh, he's going, where is he?
Yeah, and he's really curious on what's going on. That's the bike that
will he spot the box? Can he? I wonder if he can see the box where Max died from here, and if he can put 2 and 2 together.
It's possible he could spot it out, but it's all the way up the hill. We saw how long of a distance it was, so he may not look to check that far away. Right now, he's just a little curious. He has the Metal Gear Solid exclamation point over his head. He won't be a little worried. In fact, I got Scoom coming in right now. Perhaps he give him some backup just in case.
You got to defend yourself against the 3-man bikes. They're the deadliest thing in the game. They're certainly a very effective weapon.
Turn back, and the bike is 100 meters closer to him.
I can see that horror movie. That would freak me the hell
terrifying.
out. Oh my goodness! And look at this. We have Royal Bandito still in mill base, by the way. Alternate attack still in mill base. I'm noticing a pattern here.
Oh no!
Oh no! Dear!
Oh no! No load gaming! No! This is the most dangerous bridge in the entire game. Larson's here to take you out. He gets 2. Larson gets 2. Takes out 2 from Dolu Gaming. This is a very nice loot injection as well as heavy damage towards them. Oh, don't you know this is the most dangerous bridge in the entirety of Erangel?
This is dirty. That's all I'm gonna say. I feel dirty watching that, Cameron. I don't know. Like, you're right. The bridge is dangerous, but I don't know. Larson is that guy now. You know what I mean? That guy. Oh man, that felt gross just watching it, and Larson knew it as well. Like he's got the loot. Kinguin have got what they've come here for. Now we get out and get back into the circle. Severny, interestingly, is going to be a little bit of a hot spot in a couple of minutes. In the previous games, we had a maximum of 1 team go into Severny until the late stages. We now have multiple people skirting around the outside, looking for an opportunity to move on in. So we have back from Zaki there, we've got House of Nobles, camped inside as action is coming, and coming from the right-hand side as well. Oh, Gentside are going to be coming into the equation, extremely close now to No Loot Gaming. Sorry, action is coming even.
Action is coming, though. There's a pretty wide split, and a lot of the members are by themselves, so it's possible that they get the drop on them. Don't worry, Case is inside a building. He just has to load. Don't worry about it. Yep, see, there it is. Perfect. And actually, I like this position that Gentside are in, just playing along this hill area. I do need to be worried about sight lines from the mountain to the south, but in the early game, it's actually not bad. Andrea peeks over a little too aggressively, takes a couple of shots from Cases. And actually, if they're able to recognize that Cases is by himself, now that the rest of Gentside are showing up, they could choose to go in onto his position.
I wonder if we're going to see Cases ask the rest of his squad to come up with him. He's also, of course, only spotted the one person so far. Phalix actually is a really good flanking position.
What? Wait. What?
What?
He blew himself up in his own vehicle?
Is that another three-man bike? Yes, yeah. That's another three-man bike. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're taking away the moral of the story from this game. Because to me, it's really clear what the moral of the story is here, right? If it wasn't clear before, it certainly is now. So the Gentside barbecue is alive and well, and... Oh, man. Well, that's not going to be very good news, is it? A penny for their team comms. A penny.
Bonnie L gets taken out, so my tech are now down to 1. There's another thing to note. Andrea gets taken out by Frolic. So this is how to utilize a good spread, is to have sight lines helping each other out. And I still think that Action is Coming spread is a little ambitious, but they do take out Andrea at the same time. Andrea with the run through, Vic trying to come in, and Rez, his last remaining teammate, but Frolic is already on the push as well to get the full-on kill. Hops out of the vehicle, gets the spray down on the UAZ. Can't find too much damage onto Vic. But we got some shots coming from Severny support as well. Vic does get away. Andrea's not going to get revived.
Gentside want to take the fight. They want to say, we are better than you. We're going to come in and we're going to win the fight face to face. But unfortunately, it's really not just that. They have to think about their survival in this game as well. By the way, did you notice that Andrea did not have a backpack on and there was a single energy drink in there? I'm fairly confident Andrea's dropped guns and meds elsewhere.
It does make it more annoying to pick up because you got to look for them and you can't just stop in one location. There we go. Come on, yeah, don't be in there.
I wonder if it was some sort of voice chat. Are we going to see like a couple of first aid kits littered around that shack?
Look at this though. This is important though, because House of Nobles then took the position that Frolic left from.
Right.
It's a good idea for Frolic to leave though, because look at this circle. Look how tight of land area there is. He wants to get back to his team. They don't want to be so spread into this circle, but that does mean they did give it up to House of Nobles, and this is going to be an interesting transition. He's actually spotted trying to leave that hut by House of Nobles, just because of that choke going into that single building. So Frolic actually may be stuck in this position right now as well.
Mad Max when we were looking at the map just now. So many people coming in on vehicles there. HAVU now moving in on the west side of the circle, as are about 5 different teams. Kinguin scrambling for cover, looking to get into the shelter there just to the west side of Severny. Will successfully make it in. Please, please, please let me see a UAZ parked blocking them in. I would love that. I'd love that so much.
It's a little suicide in order for them to do that right now because they can just spray down. But, oh, Kinguin trying to recover, taking still a lot of shots from the north. And I like the hill that back from Zarki are playing on. It's a power position right now. Larson, the last rated member of Kinguin, trying to rotate through, taking heavy damage. It's actually going to be HAVU that finish it off, blowing up his bike. It was not even leaving a body to identify to his family.
Stay away from the vehicles, kids. Liquid have actually taken up position on the right side of the circle. We haven't heard from them in a little while. They've done a good job of keeping a low profile. They're just making sure my tech know that they're there and steering them comfortably away. The buggy won't actually get taken out this time around, and indeed keeps all 4 of its wheels. Care package coming down, but that crate is going to land comfortably in the water. Very, very high risk for anyone to think about going after that at this moment in time. Severny vacated now, except for a couple of members of Action is coming. And things once again settling down. A couple more vehicles coming into the circle, though. Let's keep an eye out for Royal Banditos. They're going to be moving right past Spoof and Co. So we'll see if Riddle Esports decides to riddle them in a different way.
Yeah, their pathing right now is doing a good job of avoiding. I think they may just be wanting to take the hill just to the east of Liquid, spot out and find information to see if there's anywhere for them to go. But they're going to soon recognize that if they want to go anywhere, they're going to have to go through way too many teams, and they may want to wait and play the edge. But no, actually no, Cloudtail, he was able to grab that gas station earlier.
Oh, very nice.
So they're all grouping up there.
Great
You saw
stuff.
Cloudtail there. I just didn't put two and two together.
Yeah, that's right. And OPG still like, well, almost north of Stalber, maybe just looking for other teams.
It is a safe rotation. Better safe than sorry.
Very safe. Like, that's about as safe as it gets, man. But yeah, once they're in gas station and they can see no one's actually shooting at them, he'll be okay with coming on in. They've got vehicles to boot as well, so that's very nice. A couple of vehicles going now into the middle of Severny, and Team Liquid moving a little bit closer as well. Still no line of sight to anyone from Action is Coming, who have actually gotten in their vehicles and they move more towards the center of town.
Yeah, it's a little weird from Action is Coming. I don't exactly know why the decision was made to move over to the church. It makes rotations outside of Severny more difficult because they're not obviously at the end. They also can't defend anyone else from bombing in onto their position onto Severny. It's a safer play because they're avoiding basically everyone. But they're not. It makes it more difficult for them to utilize map control. Exactly, because they move out of that position. Liquid able to move in and utilize the south corner of Severny in their 2-2 split.
And you're still watching game number 3, ladies and gentlemen, of this week's Auzom Premier League. Still, all 14 teams in this lobby. We started with 14, so no one has gone down just yet, and the circle is getting awfully tiny indeed. Sooner or later, the action is going to explode. Couple of shots off, not at anyone in particular, but more just against the wheels to try and limit the mobility of the guys over there. House of Noble, I believe that vehicle originally belonged to.
I believe they do pull that vehicle away. Or I just saw some rotation happening amongst that team. Who knows what it was. But here comes Liquid all forming up in Severny. Severny is dead center of the circle, so I expect to see a lot of teams come through. In fact, Liquid, the rest of the teammates aren't even the first ones through. Freak comes all in and actually in the air on the bike. Taking a lot of, well, actually not that much damage. Does probably start to take damage on very low HP and in a decent position to finish that kill off.
And unfortunately, yeah, there we go. Tomato there is going to go down. 3.5 twist in the air. Unfortunate on the dismount. And he will bow out of the game. Symphonize also getting down at the same time.
Liquid, they're a little caught out right now because they all tried to group up in Severny. But because of stopping that fight, not just with Freck, but also with Ronin, a little stop. But Ibiza doing a nice job. Takes out a couple of members. Is that Nade going to do the trick to get the full-on kill in Texas? It's not going to be the case, but he is going to pop out anyway. He doesn't want to allow Ronin any chance of taking control of this area. Severny, he has more teammates from Liquid to back him up. Nice shots through as well. So Liquid maintain control of the southern corner.
Severny really is blowing up in terms of damage right now. Ibiza just going to get the last couple of bullets off onto Kraken. Still 14 teams alive, though. That wasn't the last people because Duck and Co. have still occupied a very dangerous position outside shooting range. They're going to come into HAVU distance very shortly, and they'll hear Kinguin shooting at people near them. They're also right next to Gentside. They're sharing shooting range at the moment with Team Dignitas rotating around. Quite a few of these teams, Cameron, are people we haven't seen in a little while in this game who have kept a low profile and might suddenly leap out of nowhere.
Vic doesn't want to do any leaping out of nowhere right now. He wants to stay ahead, and he's got two teams converging on his position. He hopes that they spot each other out, take care of each other, and then leave him be. But he's moving around, so he could get spotted by Dignitas, trying to run and make sure he's inside the circle before he prones again. I think he did that just in the nick of time before Dignitas peeked in over his position. Dignitas want nothing to do with shooting range, actually. They're just using this hill as an easy, safe rotation inside to the corner of the circle.
It's hard to believe, man, that the circle is in this position already, and if Vic dies now, Gentside will be the bottom place team in this lobby. It's absolutely absurd. These guys are so good at being able to scout, find those positions, staying alive, which ultimately is what this game is all about. And very difficult to switch halfway through a game to, okay, I can't be as aggressive. Survival mode, completely different set of skills kick in. Suddenly, your mind's racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour, trying to outmaneuver and outsmart everyone else when you don't have the manpower to do so. Someone who does have a really good position, though, alternate attacks on the northwest side of the circle. They're basically on top of a hill, no one close to them. They've got angles for probably 3/4 of all the directions that someone could come from right now.
On the hill,
They're sitting pretty.
They're inside the compound just south of the hill, so it's safe for now. But I do agree. I think at this point they should be moving on top of the hill to find more information. Very limited sightlines onto the spot, so they are safe for now, which is why they're not going up onto the hill. But I would like to see them move up to the hill, at least on the next circle, depending on where it is, because this hill, it could actually be quite impactful if you play it correctly.
Would you first send 1 or 2 players there to scout it out, or would you go as a squad straight away if you're in alternate attacks position right now?
The other 2 back in the compound can't help them, and so I would send all 4.
Sure.
There's no reason to keep 2 behind in this situation. But oh, HAVU maybe coming across the remaining 2 from Ronin, just barely not peeking over the edge. Oh, the jump does give. I don't really mind away. Takes a lot of damage and gonna fall away. Wait for backup to arrive before they take this fight. Don't exactly know how many players that they're in combat with right now.
Ronin ideally wanted to keep a low profile there, but when you spot someone, you take your chances. Unfortunately, they didn't get the early down, but now if they peek over the ridge, they're going to be outnumbered. They don't know how many they're facing. They've only seen 1 so far, the rest of HAVU getting into position. Now, who does this play into the hands of? Vic. Gentside are going to be very happy with this, but of course they know that Dignitas are on the other side, and that is a big vehicle convoy coming in. Suntouch and co, Royal Banditos rushing into the circle, and they are right on top of these guys right now. Kisa going down very early on indeed. Riddle Esports are getting swamped.
Oh, Spoof does get 1 before he gets taken out by Suntouch in the end. So Riddle Esports, I believe they go down in last place. Once again, I think is that 2 games in a row? Nonetheless, Royal Banditos are able to stabilize everything. They took a couple of casualties and taking some shots right now from Liquid, who wanted to push in this position, but they realized that they're overextending by doing so. You see them still taking shots from House of Nobles to the south, so they want to go back in and regroup. Don't want to push too heavily onto that. aTTaX right now making a far rotation into the circle, because that hill that we were talking about is no longer in the circle, and so they're making a far rotation in, but they're coming right into House of Nobles.
More vehicles blowing up. Theme of the game, it does seem so far. Dignitas have actually escaped the shooting range, and they've managed to go further up north. In the meantime, we're still finding difficulty for alternate attacks to make their way into the circle. They're right on the edge, and they've got Ronin behind them as well, in addition to HAVU. So these guys are going to end up converging on each other when the next circle comes in. And it's going to be a frustrating situation indeed for HAVU, who have to fight his way not just through 1, but 2 teams.
I don't really mind it's still there in the hub, but I'm really curious on how HAVU got into this situation, because they were all grouped not a minute ago. But now Jorski needs to fight through, as you said, Duck, the last remaining player of Ronin. Here comes Grubsy trying to regroup the rest of his team. And it's actually Team Dignitas rotated all the way up to the north into aTTaX's old position, but they had to breach over the side of that hill, which is going to be dangerous. aTTaX right now trying to maintain control of the southwestern side, but taking a lot of damage. It's actually Scoom. Some heavy shots that way. Grubsy almost down as well. This is going to leave just Lixern if he can find the final shot, and he does. Nice. It's just Lixern left, but Lixern can get a revive from the teammate closest to him.
And while all that was happening, HAVU did actually take out what remained of Ronin, who will be coming in 13th place. So a Duck, unfortunately, not making his way into the circle. Teams with really good positions right now. Back from Zaki in the north side of Severny. They're firing a lot of shots, but they've got a couple of compounds to themselves. Kinguin, reasonably close to them, also sitting pretty. Team Liquid, the south side of Severny, looking good as well. So it could end up being a very big urban combat final circle. And this ends up being a game of rock, paper, scissors, right? If the circle comes in on you... Oh, hang on a second. Kinguin versus Dignitas looking like it's going to be a fight that's happening right now. Spike needs to find a way to get out behind the tree, but Miracle has everything covered right now.
Oh, yeah, that's Kinguin out in 12th place. They tried to make their way to Severity, but just too late. Tried to use smokes to their advantage, but Kinguin's angles on them was too much in the end.
And what we were saying just a bit earlier, you look really smart if you're holed up in a building in Severny and it ends up being a close quarters combat final circle. you also look, you put yourself in just such a tough position if all of you have to go out of the building. So it's a little bit of a coin flip, wouldn't you say?
A little bit, and that's why I like where Liquid's position is, because it gives them mobility around and allows them to rotate out, as compared to back from Zarky, who really buried themselves in deep. Back from Zarky, they are moving around, but they're getting a little close to multiple teams. They're close to action is coming, and no lewd gaming right in the dead center. So Zenta and Davis Crazy, they want to be a little worried. Vic gets spotted out by Scoom in the meantime, and so that's the 11th team out. But I like this from Robin. Nice little split they have utilized with the two members in the church.
So no loot gaming. And Team Dignitas both out of the game now. We are into our top 10. Make that 9th because Frost has gone down, putting alternate attacks out of the game as well. So Circle really squeezing these teams together now. And you're absolutely right, Cameron. I mean, back from Zarky, they're all still alive, but such a difficult position. Look, they come out, instantly get spotted out by James, and he gets completely wiped.
Potential revive coming in through. And so back from Zarky may still be able to maintain themselves 5 strong, but you can see how powerful it is having maneuverability so you can find those angles on the outside. But now Liquid, they do know that they have Royal Banditos coming in from their east, so they have to worry about that as well. James and Samty not in the most safe of positions, even though it does allow them to get those crossfires that can be so impactful.
And I mean, you got to be sweating right now if your action is coming, knowing that back from Zarky are all around you, and knowing that these guys hopefully will be engaging elsewhere. Team Liquid just have such good vantage points right now. I think you mentioned before that the south side is a little bit of a worry for a team in that position, but right now, doesn't look like anyone's about to ambush them from there. They've got that angle pretty much covered, and they're sitting very pretty indeed.
The only worry that they have is people coming in from the north side, but they know that there's multiple teams up there, and that they should be hearing action come their way before it actually meets them. And so that's going to be a good enough of a sound cue as well as a cue in the kill feed, if that's ever going to happen. And that's also why you want to have the 2 people on the outside that you see, James and Samty.
Just keeps your options open.
And, Vazku trying to snake in. He's going to eat a little bit of blue damage, but really wants to wait for Royal Banditos to leave. Doesn't want to take this fight. It's obvious not in his favor in a 1v4.
Just the Python lurks in the grass.
Doesn't get spotted.
Oh, he could be waiting quite a while indeed. 3 of them there. There is an opportunity for the hero play 1v3, but he would rather med it out and hope everyone leaves. Unfortunately, half the vehicle, I think, is actually inside the circle. And these guys are going to be staying put. Vazku, he's going to have to take this fight. There's no other way. He can't have infinite meds. No. Really? Insta-caster curse. Worked very well.
Oh,
wow, Vazku.
Beautiful timing for him. Beautiful timing. It's actually opposite that goes down to Samty. Liquid spraying them all down. Takes out one of the 3 vehicles. Can they take out any more? They do need to worry, though, about people coming from the north. And look where the ending circle is. Easy position for Liquid to regroup inside dead center once again. Scoom peeking out south, has an eyes on Vanity trying to go for the vehicle, realizes that the wheels are taken out, and actually has the sightline onto Scoom right now. So Scoom doesn't want to overpeak this, but he's waiting for the good chance to take a shot.
8 teams left alive, and as soon as we saw that circle, I can hear the Liquid spam coming out from here. That was the Liquid are going to be very happy with that, but they have a great compound. They kept the flexibility. The 2 people from outside have now come in, knowing that everyone's going to be collapsing onto their position. So like you said before, Cameron, they maintained that flexibility, and now they're going to be able to use it to the max.
Absolutely. They want to make sure that they're not overextending themselves, but they seem close enough to be able to help each other out. It's all about landing the shots. They don't want to be too distracted on the south side. As you can see back from Zarky, getting a little closer to the north. But while I said that, Ibiza, heavy damage to House of Nobles trying to make their way in. Doesn't get a kill just yet. But Casis, lone remaining player from the north, actually deals some damage to back from Zarky trying to move in. He's a lone player, so he can't overextend too much. And he's not the only snake on the side.
These 2 teams, of course, were extremely close to each other when they were popping on through. The Vector, a very, very powerful weapon at close range, but you could see he wasn't 100% expecting someone to be there. It wasn't at head height. A couple of body shots did go off, but it's not enough to save him from going down himself. We are down to 6 teams with 15 people left alive, ladies and gentlemen. This is Game 3 of tonight's Auzom Premier League. You're watching the red lobby with JoRoSaR, Cameron Davis, and iTwisterr. And Team Liquid are in an excellent position right in the middle of the circle. Back from Zaki, after they planted themselves all the way back in Severity and made it really difficult for themselves to rotate out, they're doing okay right now. They just need to not get too close to Liquid.
Or they actually want to... Oh, yeah, I don't want to get too close just yet, but obviously Liquid, they want to upseat them and take prime position in the circle right now. Vasco gets spotted out by Ibiza, so our lone hero does get 5th place for his team. But unfortunately is going to go out, not going to save the day like we all expected. Absolutely 100%. Only 2 remaining players from Royal Banditos now over the ridge. Liquid should know they're there. Trying to throw some nades in their direction. They're not quite hitting.
After the hero timing from Vasco, I really, really wanted to see him top 3. But no, the beautiful positioning there when he snaked in does earn myTech a 5th place. Very, very credible.
Look at this next circle. Again, right on Severity.
Oh, Jesus.
Right onto the southern triangle.
That's very nice. That's back from Zarky Liquid territory. Everyone else is going to be pushing in. Great frag. I didn't actually see the direction of that going on to Gaxi, but Kinguin in just a teensy bit of trouble. That was a big throw.
Through the bars as well, which is obviously not the easiest to make. Could have easily bounced back in this position. Zampy, though, eyes on a second player. A revive is going to come through, so Kinguin are going to stay pretty strong. And if Zampy doesn't hit the headshot, which he does, drops Miraku. Puts so much pressure still onto Kinguin.
What a machine. No hesitation. What was that? 3 shots, 2 of which hit the head. Beautiful stuff. He probably knocked his helmet clean off as well. Gaxi is back up, though. And still 2 members as well from Royal Banditos. These guys are kind of chilling out on the east side, wanting to stay out of trouble.
They got to move soon, though.
Oh, man, they're basically going to have to cross the road. And crossing the road into these guys, I mean, good luck. Those are not good odds, man.
Smokes plume right now to allow them some simple access. But again, it's going to be rough nonetheless. Scoop right now coming in on a smaller position. But they also have to worry about Kinguin. But Sampy's doing a good enough job by himself to do that. But he does get traded out in return. Vard going to want to drop him. And so Liquid have to make a decision right now on what angle they want to prioritize. And it looks like they're prioritizing Kinguin because it's actually a vehicle being utilized by Royal Banditos coming into the north. But they're coming straight into back from Zarky. So back from Zarky now up to bat.
Back from Zarky.
The revive on his teammate.
Royal Banditos in close proximity now. Cloudtail gets taken down. They are down to 1 person up at the moment. And in fact, that's going to be it for Cloudtail, meaning there's only 1 person left there. Vard gets taken down from James. Kinguin not having the best of times here. So Suntouch, the sole survivor for Royal Banditos. We have Team Liquid, we have Kinguin, and we have back from Zaki. The 4 teams left with 8 alive, and Team Liquid still with the numbers advantage. Of the 9 people here, 4 of them are on 1 team.
Liquid are in prime position to take this entire game. Only thing to hope for is, well, Miraku, he's trying to med up before he makes a late run in through, but you can see James Crosshair directly on his position. They know that there's still a member of Kinguin left. And so it's going to be an easy spray down. He's kind of just hoping for back to Zarky to come into the fight and distract Liquid for him to make the run across, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Circle shrinks ever so slightly into Severny, and both Zarky and Liquid still have position inside the circle. Liquid all converging in onto 1 building with the bees that left on the side. No, I say that James is running forward aggressive. He wants to take this fight. They know that they have the man advantage into this. Peeking into the building, wants to take a more forward position. No one in this current building right now, but he's getting close.
Kinguin are, in the meantime, out in 4th position. Very aggressive stuff indeed coming here from James. Won't find anyone here. In fact, a little bit more meds. Won't say no to that, of course, but looting isn't his primary concern right now. Robin and Co. looking for a way to get in. This is not a fun circle to be in when you know the compounds are being camped by people with precision aim, and you are going to be the one that has to run towards them. This is not fun at all. Suntouch just wants to stay out of everything so he can finish second. We all know what's going on here.
Ibiza laying some damage onto Robin right now, doing a good job keeping them at bay. And now James also holding an angle onto him. It's going to be tricky for Robin, but they did get another player through. Wants to make sure he doesn't reveal his backside to Zenta, as you can see just to his right. There he goes. Gets a spray down and Robin running across. Easy shots, not much else that Robin could do. And so that leaves back to Zarky down to 2.
2v1v4. Team Liquid staying calm, staying collected. James did go for the little bit more of the aggressive play, but generally speaking, there is no overconfidence here. They're making sure they check their corners, look for the angles appropriately. Sun Touch being very sneaky out in the open, and it's not going to pay off for him at all. Samty takes him down, and that means that Royal Banditos, after winning a game, are now in a 3rd place. That's going to do wonders for them on the overall leaderboard, but it is all about Liquid now.
Ibiza heard the door open, and so called that out to his teammate just across the way to spot Auzom's position. And Sunter's down now. It's just Zenta and Fawn left 2v4. I don't know what you can really expect from them at this point, but he hears a reload. And so they maybe get a drop on the first player. But that's only going to be giving away information. And oh, that's multiple players coming in on the position. They know what building they're in. There's only one building left because you saw Liquid methodically take control of each and every single building, making their way inside the circle.
It's time for the frag show to begin.
Spot across. Zenta sending some shots out early. Lands a couple onto Ibiza. But doesn't get the full kill, and that's just information given away.
Yeah, they know what's up. 4v2. Final circle here. This is Custer's last stand. There is still an opportunity from Zaki to win this, but they are going to have to pull something borderline miraculous out of the bag here. They can't even use all of the stairs inside because some of it is in the blue. Fawn getting extremely low. He's going to be able to heal up, but only just. You don't get that very often indeed. James now coming in via the blue, making sure these guys know that there are no angles where they can feel safe. And this is... I don't know, man. It's a matter of time. I'm surprised we haven't seen multi-frag. They might not have too many left between them.
Well, there's one. I think that may just... No, yeah, this is smoke to hopefully allow Zenta to go away. But just look at this. It's like
run into the blue now, maybe?
Shepherding lambs into a corner. On Zenfo, they haven't found any access on the way out, and they're only just getting cornered more and more.
There's no convenient way to jump out a window. There's no back entrance that isn't in the blue and forcing you to tank a ridiculous amount of damage. Scoom's got that entrance completely covered off. There is nowhere to go. Jump off the roof, maybe, get on the ledge, but there are people across the street in the window. They're going to see you there.
Zarky, they need to be taking these fights, but they don't want to overpeak, which is fair. It would be dangerous to do so. But in a way, they kind of have no choice. But Scoom takes a lot of damage. So that's something that they could maybe use, but again, not a drop, not a down. And so it's still a 4v2 situation for them.
A lot of smokes, making sure, and that basically helps to hide footsteps. So making these guys even more paranoid that someone could be rushing up the stairs, forcing them to listen out for those footsteps. And of course, that's not happening at the moment. Liquid playing this very slowly, very methodically. They're not going to get cocky just because they have the numbers advantage. They're going to play the fact that these guys are cooped up in the house and they have the luxury of time.
Right now, all Zarky can do is hope that the final ending point of the blue ends in their building and they're not forced to leave. But Ibiza and James are right next to the building, if not inside it already. So that's only going to do so much for them at this point. They've given too much room. Sentai going for a little bit of a fight. Takes some damage in return, though. Has to fall away. Doesn't give out any of his own.
Now we have someone... Is that James inside? Up on the 2nd floor now. James Ibiza waiting, listening. And here comes the circle. It's on Ibiza. They're going to have to move out.
The point of the ending circle is all the way away from Zarky. And James, he's going to go in the blue and finish it out himself. He doesn't want to give up those points to the play zone. And so Liquid, it was a slow finish. But with, what is that? 15 kills. Very nice control of their area of the south end of Severny are going to take game number 3.
Patience, dedication, knowing that they have a good position and not feeling the need to push it. Team Liquid played that slowly, methodically, almost cruel, but they got the result they wanted. 15 kills and a 1st place going into game number 4 is going to make the crowd favorites very, very happy indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Auzom Premier League. This is Lobby Red. I'm JoRoSaR. With me is Cameron Davis. Your observer is iTwisterr. And we will be back after this. Don't go anywhere.